What's up, y'all? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Guardians, in just a few weeks, we'll be transitioning into Season 23, Season of the Wish. This will be a long season, but one that will be filled with tons of great lore and narrative development towards something that many Guardians have been waiting a long time for, the 15th Wish. But that's not the only thing that you can expect to see in Season of the Wish. In Season 23, Desitny will undergo several changes and reworks that will stir up the sandbox quite a bit, including the introduction of a catalyst for the Thorn. It's yet to be seen whether this new catalyst will have as great of an impact as the Monte Carlo or the Malfeasance did. But considering Thorn's new catalyst will provide the benefits of Killing Wind plus Overflow, I think it's going to be a revolutionary, game-changing upgrade that's going to make a huge impact to both PvE and PvP. So today we're taking an early look at a unique Thorn build that's already exceptionally powerful in the current sandbox. But this Strand Warlock build is about to get exponentially more lethal in Season 23. When the catalyst for the Thorn drops, it will be available through playlist activities like Vanguard Ops, Nightfall, Gambit, and Crucible. Once unlocked, the Thorn will gain an additional 20 points of range, 10 extra points of stability, and after every final blow, or after absorbing a remnant, you'll gain an additional bonus in range, an increase in handling and mobility. If these new benefits weren't a big enough wow factor already, collecting remnants will now overflow Thorn's magazine, providing as many as 40 rounds to the magazine. These upgrades look very promising, and with the Thorn being a weapon of sorrow, there's one exotic in particular exclusive to Warlocks that is going to create some unparalleled synergy, the Necrotic grips. This exotic has been featured in many of my previous build videos, one of the best Warlock exotics currently in Desitny. And when they get paired up with the Thorn, you're able to double down on the poisonous effects that both of these exotics provide. The Necrotic grips perform really well with many of the Warlock subclasses. I love the playstyle that Arc and Solar subclasses offer, but the one that is able to truly embrace and amplify the Necrotic grips and Thorn combination is a Strand build. Strand's going to give you the benefits of severing enemies, reducing their damage output by 40%. There's also Woven Mail, which grants 60% damage resistance, allowing you to stay alive longer. Strand offers 3 charged threaded spike melees that will spread the necrotic poison and unravel enemies at the same time, and these things have ridiculous range. Plus there's a grapple attack that serves as a secondary charged melee. Those little green rats, aka threadlings, will be at your disposal as well. And let's not forget that you also get tangles and the ability to suspend enemies, which makes the potency of the Thorn and Necrotic grips even more deadly. To amplify this synergy even further, we're utilizing a few specific Strand fragments that are going to help regenerate abilities faster and help us stay alive. And we're starting with Thread of Ascent. This is going to automatically reload our equipped weapon whenever activating our grenade ability. Even though Thorn will get the benefits of Overflow, this will solidify the fact that you should never really have to waste time on manually reloading. As mentioned before, Woven Mail is a vital component towards survivability, so we are using Thread of Warding so that we'll get Woven Mail whenever collecting an orb. We've also got Thread of Generation, which provides a very small amount of grenade energy as we deal damage. This does reduce discipline by 10 points, but it will really help get that Strand grapple back faster. And lastly, we're using Thread of Isolation. This is going to cause enemies to become severed after consecutive precision shots. So not only will Thorn be able to poison enemies, but it's now going to be able to cause them to deal 40% less damage. It's going to become much more difficult for your enemies to kill you when you have a 60% damage resistance bonus at the same time as your enemies are dealing 40% less damage, while they're also getting poisoned, unraveled, and suspended. When it comes to Strand aspects, there's some definite wiggle room here because none of these really have a melee focus, but we can still get some big benefits out of these. We currently have the Wanderer and Weaver's Call equipped so that we can create threadlings on Rift Generation, and threadlings will now create tangles, which will suspend enemies. No build is complete without the right armor and armor mods, so let's take a look at what we can do with our armor to make this build even better. Before we dive into each armor slot, since we are heavily focused towards melee and we want to have our grapple back as often as possible, strength and discipline are both important armor stats that you should work at getting to 100. It will also be good to focus towards resilience, which reduces how much damage you take, and recovery, which will help get our rift energy back faster and improves how long it takes to get health back. When it comes to armor mods, starting with helmets, we want to utilize Hands On. This is going to grant bonus super energy whenever defeating enemies with a melee attack. And with 2 of these applied, we'll be able to get our super back incredibly fast. We're using the heavy-handed gloves mod, which is going to create orbs when defeating enemies with charged melee attacks. And it'll also give us woven mail, thanks to the thread of warding. Impact Induction will be a great gloves mod to use, since we can regain grenade energy whenever striking an enemy with a melee. There is a 7-second cooldown with this mod, but it does provide 20% energy, 25% with the use of 2. Outside of resistance mods, the only other chest mod that's worth using would be Charged Up, which will allow us to have 1 additional armor charge slot, which could certainly come in handy, since we are also utilizing kinetic weapon surges on our boots to give Thorn an additional boost in damage. Currently, we're using 2 of these, so that we'll get a 17% increase in damage. This leaves us with 1 additional slot to use, which we could use better already to get health back on orb pickup. But if you're content on health regen, then Invigoration or Innervation would be my recommendations, since they'll provide either grenade or melee energy when collecting an orb. And to the same extent, we're utilizing a mix of Outreach and Bomber mods on our class item. These will help regenerate grenade or melee energy when casting a rift. And with the Reaper mod also equipped, we'll have additional orbs getting generated so that we can continue this already outstanding ability regeneration and survivability that this build is providing. And to bring things full circle, let's finish this build off by talking about the best weapons to pair up with the Necrotic Grips and Thorn. Ideally, we want to look at legendary weapons that provide perks like Envious Assassin, Golden Tricorn, Demolitionist, or Pugilist. But Disruption Break is also going to be an outstanding weapon perk that's going to grant bonus damage to the Thorn after breaking a combatant's shield. There's not a ton of great heavy strand weapons right now in Destiny 2, but there's one that has really performed very well ever since getting released, and that is the Circular Logic, an extremely powerful heavy machine gun that fires out nanotech rockets, and when it comes with Envious Assassin and Vorpal, it can really melt those high-ranking enemies. We don't know yet what new mods Season 23's artifact will offer, but it's likely that it will include a few strand mods that will undoubtedly improve this build even more, and hopefully we'll get some mods that are focused towards melee or hand cannons. The Thorn has been such an amazing exotic that's truly stood the test of time. It's seen its fair shares of nerfs and buffs, and now in Season 23, it is finally getting a well-deserved catalyst. And with this Strand Necrotic Grips build, Warlocks are about to dominate Destiny in Season of the Wish. And with that being said, we have now covered all the ins and outs of the Thorn, its new catalyst, how to get it, and the perfect Warlock build to pair up with this extraordinary exotic hand cannon when Season 23 launches. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Thorn and its new catalyst. Do you think it'll be as game-changing as the Monte Carlo and Malfeasance catalysts have been? Let us know down in the comments below. And let me know what builds you're excited for the most in Season 23. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. To duplicate this build, you can visit the Destiny Item Manager link that's in the description below. And if you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's also in the description, and join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.